So, hi everyone. Just welcome to the session. And today we will introduce LazBus and LazPool. We have done this session before, but I know that some of you are new to this and wanted more information about what is LazPool, what is LazBus, what are these research products, how do I use these particular research products, and how do I send in my questions, when will I get the answers to those. So, and also some of you wanted to understand what is Omnibus in general, because these both of these products are Omnibus studies. So how you can better utilize this for your research questions. You may have some business objectives, some business questions which you have in mind, and then how do you best get some answers from it every month. So just I will start sharing my screen now. Okay, just give me 1 second because this is a new laptop, so I'm just seems like there is some. I think this should work now. I should be able to share my screen. Okay. So let me take you all through Laz. I think I'll start with LazBus because that is more of a very, very standard omnibus study. Let me put it on full screen. So what is LazBus? LazBus, actually, we named it because it is a omnibus survey. Just can you let me know if you can see my screen?
We haven't
We haven't.
the screen yet.
Can you? Can you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Hi, Sanchita.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Two things I can't see your screen. Secondly, I think there's only 7 participants, so I don't know whether do you want to still share or are
I
more
think
people joining?
I don't know whether we are. I think we are doing a live streaming.
We
So
are.
we are sharing because most of them will not join typically in the session, and then they ask the same questions afterwards.
Also, it's
So
recorded, right? Okay.
it's already recorded, yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So um, let me see if my sharing screen is working. Okay. Okay, this is somehow I'm not able to share screen because I have a new laptop somehow. There's some issues. Uh, just give me 1 second.
Okay. I think you need to go system preferences, and I think under screen recording, and then you allow like
I did
other.
that. Yeah, just
Oh,
let me check that. Yeah.
Maybe you wanna share the file to us, and then I can share the screen for you, Sanchita.
Yeah, it's under LazBus group, the introduction, and then LazPool group as well.
Okay.
Both the introductions. Yeah. Sorry about this.
We go with LazBus first, Sanchita.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Should we start? Are you sharing your screen, Aris?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, we're sharing.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So for LazBus, if you look at the introduction, let's go to the next slide. So most of you have seen this, this kind of a poster. So what is this survey about? Let's go to the next screen. Harris, please. Yeah, so in general, LastPass is basically, usually typically we get a lot of requests for different surveys, and these are mostly very small, short surveys. So in a way, we were already trying to combine all these small requests into a bigger survey. And so why but then a lot of times people would come to us just after we have launched a survey, and they would miss the bus in a way. So what we plan to do is then we this year we plan to do it in a more systematic way, where we would already put in the timelines. And before the 7th of the month, if we get a survey request before the 7th of the month, we can put it into a survey and give the results to you by the 30th of the month. So that way, all of you all know that you have to plan for your research questions before the 7th of the month, or else you go into the next month's research, the last pass. So every month, that's basically the timeline. The countries we cover is all 6 countries, and we try to target a sample size of 1,000 per country. At least there's a minimum sample size of 300. Now, Singapore is, because it's a smaller country, and response rates are not the best of response rates. So sometimes it is a little bit lower, but you will get enough responses to do analysis. While for other countries, mostly the bigger countries, you will get much more than 1,000 in most cases. So in terms of methodology, it is an online survey where we use the CDP internal database, which is Lazada users database. And we sent out in-app surveys through the CRM team. So we have a very good collaboration with the CRM team, and frankly, there's a lot of effort put by them as well. And thanks to their effort and their collaboration, we are able to send out this survey every month. So of course, that's something which we are really indebted for. But you will always be able to send out these surveys only among Lazada users. So some of y'all may have this question that, is this data going to be biased because this is only among Lazada users? What we have seen is that whenever we do a survey with Lazada users or external data, external panel agency users, we've noticed that mostly who are Lazada users are also using other e-commerce platforms. So usually that is not so much of an issue, because we also ask this question that even if they might be using Lazada, what is their MOUB, which is most often used brand, or if some of you will call it BUMO, which is brand used most often. So we ask this question to them, and we do the analysis based on whether they're using Lazada more or Shopee more. And and we've noticed that it's not because they're using Lazada that means that they are using Lazada the most. They are sometimes using Shopee more or some other platform more. So you will get an enough, good distribution of competition users as well in this particular survey. So the target respondent and the quotas and all exclusions are very, very standardized. It is for Lazada users 18 years and above. Try to at least have online shopping frequency at least once in 3 months, which is like at least the basic which we try to cover. Most of them we've noticed is actually much more frequent buyers and much more heavy buyers than this, because otherwise they wouldn't be interested in actually clicking on an in-app notification to take a survey in the first place. So we also try to ensure that they have Lazada and Shopee as the online shopping app installed in their phone, so that they can respond to properly to questions which are related to app related questions. Yeah. In terms of key questions, what we do is that we take, if it is one survey, but there are multiple topics in it, right? Like I was mentioning, that there are 10 topics which we cover, and each topic is given 5 questions. So this is where, this is what most of you need to take note of, that there are 10 stakeholders who are coming in with questions, but each of you can only ask 5 questions each, because what you've seen, and generally how omnibus surveys run, is that 5 questions is usually enough to answer some of your business questions which you're trying to answer on a very immediate note. But if you want a full-fledged survey, of course you can speak to us and we can look at a full-fledged survey. And there are cases where you might start off with a 5 question, just get a basic understanding, and then do a full-fledged survey later on. So that's all possible. But this one, till date, frankly, it has been very useful for all the people who have used LazBus, and that's why we go on seeing people coming with repeated requests from whoever has used LazBus. In fact, there is actually, initially we had put in a strict rule that we will not repeat stakeholders so that everyone gets a fair chance, but we go on getting requests from stakeholders who want to repeat question, not repeat the same questions, but repeatedly ask different questions in different months. So it has been definitely very useful for a lot of people who have used this particular survey. It's just like a normal survey, just that you're getting only 5 questions, and you can ask different questions in different months. It's the maximum length is up to 20 minutes. So how do we manage that is internally something which we do. We put in logics. We ensure that no one is answering all the 10 topics. People answer only 5 topics, so that they keep it within 20 minutes. So all that internally is managed. And we in terms of screener and demographic data and all that, you will also get all those data, so you can do your data like tables, or rather any kind of analysis based on demographics like age, gender, etc. In terms of timelines, this is the most important to note, perhaps, that we do it every month, and we started in May, and hence you don't see the April mentioned here, but actually we will be doing it in April as well, in the coming year. The 1st to 7th of the month is when we collect all the requests. But what we have noticed is that because it's a very popular program, a lot of people start putting in requests the previous month itself, and by the 1st or 2nd of the month, a lot of there has been most of the months we've seen that by 1st, 2nd, all the slots are already taken up. So if you have a request, try to be early, because we don't go with any other rule other than first come first served, because that's the easiest way for us. So I will also tell you how to put in the request. I will get into that. And in terms of discussion, we'll obviously go discuss with you, do all the clarifications, how the entire process. I will just briefly take you all through it, and then you will get the data in a dashboard format and raw data format on the 30th. We don't do PPT reports. Like that's not something which is deliverable for this particular study, because it's every month, and frankly, dashboard it has enough number of charts, and the way exactly how you want to look at it. You have all the filters which you want to use it in terms of male, female, gender, so age, gender. So all the segmentation and everything can be done through the dashboard itself. And of course, there's a resource constraint as well, and that's why we don't typically do a PPT. We try to send out some PPT charts and all, but like a dashboard again. But I mean, that's not something which is promised deliverable in this case. So let's go to the next slide, so that I can explain better on what is Omnibus and what you're looking for. So in terms of like if you see, there are 10 domain or 10 topics which come together to put into one big survey, as I was telling you. So one survey, online survey every month among Lazada users, and then but everyone gets their own separate dashboard. So each of you will be able to look at the data which you wanted to look at. And there are many benefits, of course. The operational cost and resource benefit is one of the biggest for the research team. But the other part is that it's also time bound, and hence we are bound to send you the data within a particular, within the specific date by the end of the month. And so all of this is very much more systematic, and it's time bound. So that's the biggest advantage of this particular program. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so what is the benefit, like when you talking about Omnibus? Omnibus is not something which we have come up with. It's actually a very standard methodology which is used by any agency. There are many agencies, research agencies, who specialize in running omnibus surveys, and that's like a product which they sell to different companies. And then you can send in one question, two question, depending on number of questions. They allow up to 5 questions. 5 is the max, but you can even buy, like, just pay for one question and just send out one question for and just purchase the one slot for one question. So that's something where we got the idea from. And if you see traditional surveys, you're sending out one survey and just a few questions, and there's like this was very heavy on the CRM team. First and foremost, the CRM team was had to send out a lot more surveys. This obviously not just had resource implications for CRM team, also for the research team. That means the research team had to do the entire operations of sending out a survey for each of these surveys, which everyone was sending out. In the process, what was happening was the user experience, of course, was also getting impacted, because the user was receiving too many notifications in a month for different surveys. And this was not the optimal or the ideal way of doing things, so that we don't impact the user experience in. And hence this is what we came up with. And this is perhaps much more ideal, because it's only one time, one survey per month which they are now getting, and they don't have to, they don't feel overwhelmed with the number of surveys which they get. And also operationally, cost wise, everything is much more beneficial for all the internal teams, like the research team, CRM team, whoever is involved in the research process. Yeah. So just going to, I think for this, yeah. So how do you send in your LazBus survey request? So if you go into the next, say if you can join the DingTalk group, which is this number which is there on the screen, we can. I think most of you have already joined that group, or I have added you into that group if you are from the design team or the user operations team. For any other team, you might want to search up this group number, and you can see the file which is called, I will, in fact, Harris, if you can share how it looks in DingTalk, the group, that will be very good. And I can also share how the file looks like in the particular group. That will be very helpful.
Thing is being recorded.
Sorry, I got dropped off, I think, at one point of time. Hopefully you all can hear me now again. Hello.
Yes, we can still hear you, Sanchita. Still It's too many screen to share. I think I'm
Yeah,
getting
okay.
a
So
lag.
this is, yeah, sorry. I got my
I think I'm gonna show the file open.
you can just you don't need to initially with us. You can just go to the LazBus survey request sheet, which is there. You see that file under files and folders in the main LazBus group. So when you go to join this group and you go to this group, which is called the LazBus quantitative survey, the main group, and then if you go to this, yeah, this particular file, and please use online editing. We do not accept requests in any other format, like you send us a U2A file, or another PPT or an Excel sheet with your questions. We are unable to accept that simply because we have so many stakeholders every month coming to us. So if everyone sends it to us in different formats, it's just impossible for us to collate it and then put everything into one file. So what we do is we have something like this. If you go to the August one, which is already done actually, which is down the, I think, if you can look, can you, yeah, Harris, can you show the August one, which is further down?
Uh, the
Yeah,
dashboard link.
no, not the dashboard link. Can you share the, yeah, the August file? Yeah, just this one, the request file,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so this one, if you see, the topics are already put, and this one we've already completed and sent out the dashboard and all. So if you see the topics, like the topic owners have put in their names and their topics, and if you go down the file, you will also find that you can put in your questions, which countries you want to prioritize. Is there any particular, all the details are very clearly mentioned, what you need to input. So this is basically your input sheet, and every column is dedicated for a particular stakeholder. So you see there's topic 1 to topic 10, and if you move down further down in the in the right, and if you scroll down right hand side, you will also be able to see that have put in some placeholders for people who are unable to get a slot for the month, and then we have put them on a wait list. So you have topic 1 to 10, and then there are all the wait list topics which are waitlisted for the next month. Yeah, so this is where you can put in your thing. But typically I would say that if you want to put in a topic, just book early, because it usually gets taken up, and every month we have people in the wait list. So even in September, we have quite a few, waitlisted for October. So that's what you've, or where you can put in your request. You can see that the request files are already created for September, October, November, December. In fact, September is already on, and we are already discussing that with the teams. If you have any further questions on that, you can also look at the FAQ section in this file. There's a sheet called FAQ right up front. So Harris will just take you to that. Um, yeah. So this is basically where you can see all the FAQ related information about, what is LazBus, how many topics you can send in, why is it limited, etc. And any other questions, mostly whether you can send in an NPS question, a PSAT question, can you repeat questions, is not meant for sending questions which so like say you want to measure satisfaction or user experience every month on a specific topic. No, this is not meant for that. This is meant for ad hoc customized questions every month. If you want to start something like that, which is more tracking, which we call it, like trending or tracking data, or trend, like trending charts, that one needs to have a separate survey. You might want to speak to the NPS team, which is under customer care VOC, or you might want to speak to us. And we also have some of these, trending tracking thing, which is usually doesn't go out every month, but every 3 months is something which we capture for a user growth team, for all the that, but that will be a definitely be a different survey in this particular survey. We do not repeat every month the same questions. Yeah, so that the reason we do not do it is that it's not meant for that purpose, and also we want to give a fair chance to everyone who comes up with a particular topic and they want to know a specific a question which is just meant for that particular month. Yeah. So, how do you view previous reports or previous, dashboard links or even survey links? How do you test it out? You can go to survey and dashboard links, and you can see that it's not. You see August and September. If you want to look at the September questionnaire, which is just right now actually being tested and being sent out to everyone. If you just want to have an idea about how the people come together to take advantage of this particular LazBus survey, you can just go into the test run, the survey which is called test link. You can click on any of these links and you can test it out for yourself. The dashboard link will also show you how the dashboard looks like. We will show you an example of the dashboard very soon from the particular folder. So let's go to the folder, back to the folder again. Um, if we can go back to the folder, the ending talk group, Harris, if you can share your screen for yeah. So if you go to the previous months, we will show you for August maybe. And so here you see there's a introduction about LazBus introduction, which we just presented. That particular PPT is there. We also have the instructions on how you can send in your request. We have the LazBus survey request online sheet, which is the one which we always use in online editing mode to receive any request or to communicate with you. So that is the one which is used for every communication between you and us. And of course, all the previous months are all archived under number 4. And if you want to see any kind of information about how we did the research, it's all under archive previous months. So let's go to the previous months. September will not have enough data, so let's go to previous months from August. So because September is just being, no, September will not have the thing. Let's go to pre-archive and let's go to August. Yeah, so let's go to August. So you will find the questionnaire and this one and the translations, all of that is there here. And then, yeah, so if you can open it, and so you see the translated versions are here, the English versions are here. So in case you want to have a look at it, you can have a look at that. So it's all in both PDF and in document version. So it's all there. And then going back to what else is there in the August folder. Um, yeah, so you have let's look at the dashboards maybe, because that's what you will get initially from us. So if you look at the dashboard, it comes by country. It doesn't come by the total SEA. It comes by country. So if you look at country-wise, let's go to Philippines perhaps, and then we can look at the dashboard just quickly. So you can also explore it on your own if you want to have a look at it. So this one you see is, this is for Philippines. And then just scrolling down, you will notice all the charts and everything is already, is all the details are already there. It's like 138 pages. So you can imagine the number of charts which are there. It's all the details are, uh, you know, you can see the details here, in fact. So So it's all in chart format, and you can readily use this even if we do not send you a full report. Frankly, all the data and all the report is already created for you in the dashboards. So yeah, just go down and show one of the sections which we had asked them. Is only asked, there are some screener questions. As you can see, this was asked for only people who are have bought grocery products in the past 6 months. So if they say no, we do not ask the following questions about groceries. So if you go to the following questions, it's only asked to people who have said yes to this question. So what are the key factors when, considering when they purchase grocery products online? So yeah, so this is like one section which was meant for just for grocery. So similarly, for every month, for every country, you will find all the charts with all the data tables. So this is what the dashboard, this is actually the end result, or kind of the deliverable which we have. As an extra value add, whenever as researchers, we love to create reports and analyze data. So we do some extra work as well, which we can show you in, again, going back to the August files, going back to Ding Talk group, you will find something under the final reports. So under LazBus August. Yeah, so you will find it on, for every month, you will find something under final reports. And you will find the top lines for August here, again in PDF and PPT. Maybe you want to open the PDF, it's easier and faster to just take them through it. Yeah, so this is something which, of course, we have analyzed, we put in our comments, and we have done even the SEA, which is the Southeast Asia, the full this thing. So you see this was for grocery. Here you can see this total Southeast Asia numbers as well. And you can see that we have put in our comments as, based on analysis, that what is the final our viewpoint on this from the data. So again, similarly, you will find 1 or 2 slides per category, because there are only 5 questions anyway. So we've analyzed all the different questions, and we put in our inputs after the analysis. So this is basically something which you will get it, but this is not by 30th, obviously, because we anyway launched the survey around 25th, 26th.
Sanchita, we are losing you. I couldn't check if she's still in the room.
PD or anyone, a business person or anyone, will put in the perfectly worded, phrased, research question, because that's not the objective of gathering requests. The gathering of requests is mainly for just to understand that what is your objective, what are the questions, what are the 5 questions you have in mind. We do not expect you to have it in the most perfect way or research savvy way. That is our job, and we will do it, and we will put it in the best possible way that is required. Leave it to us. You can just put in the basic questions, and then let us show you another Harris, if you can show the September LazPass or August LazBus group, which is a smaller group, which is not this group, but there's a Ding Talk group called LazBus. If you search for it, it's the LazBus August and September group, the ones in a green color, um, which, yeah. So if you can, so what we do is because this is the main group and this one has a lot of people in this group, and of course we possibly cannot discuss every discussion cannot happen in this group. Hence what we do is we just create different a separate group only with the stakeholders who have put in request for that particular month. And what we do is you can see all these groups for every different month. So again, here, as you can see, for September, we are discussing with the stakeholders who have put in the request for September. And we will discuss with you. We will even approach you separately. So whoever is leading the research for that particular month, because we rotate our researchers, whoever is leading it. For this month, it's Dana who's leading it. Next month, it may be somebody else from our team. So somebody will approach you and also discuss with you on what you are expecting, what is your survey question, how, and whether we have done it correctly and whether we've understood your objective correctly. So all that is something which we go through. We share all the questions. All that is done. So don't, I mean, that you don't have to worry that, you just send us the questions and you receive the answers and it may not be the perfect ones. So we do all the discussion. It's just that the discussion happens in a different group and not in the main group. And hence most of y'all are not aware of it or don't get to see it upfront. But all of that happens in the background. So this is basically for LazBus. I will take a pause here and just ask if there's any questions for me at the moment before I go into LazPool. Okay, okay, so then I will go into LazPool in that case and quickly take you all through what is LazPool, because it's a very similar concept. Everything remains the same, except that if we can just, Harris, if you can just share the PPT file, which is for introduction to LazPool, which is in the main LazPool group, please. Yeah, that one. So this one is basically the introduction and the research design. So when we launched LazBus, of course, there was this whole question on LazBus is a very standard one, omnibus survey, which any agency does, or we've done it multiple times for the quantitative part, like any quantitative survey questions, online survey questions. What about qualitative questions? Because of course, a lot of y'all have qualitative questions, and a lot of times it's not feasible to answer those through a quantitative survey because you're looking for more in-depth data and not so much quantification or numbers, but you're looking more for qualitatively what is the in-depth or exploratory. Sometimes the topics are very, very exploratory, and hence you're looking for qualitative. So how do we do that? And that's when we thought that, okay, why not launch something which is qualitative omnibus, which is basically one FGD, or rather two group discussion per country. So there are 6 countries and 12 group discussions which are happening and that's a fair bit of group discussions actually. But we keep it to 5 topics, so that each topic gets about 15 minutes to 15 to 18 minutes of this thing, because the total FGD session goes on for 1.5 hours. So 1.5 hours with some introduction and some conclusion and all, you will get roughly about 15 minutes to max 18 minutes. In some cases, we try to keep each topic to 15 minutes. And 15 to 18 minutes is actually quite a fair bit of time to spend on a topic which is just like a short topic to get enough amount of in-depth data. Because even if when we do a focus group discussion for any topic, when we do 1.5 hours only on that topic, it's a lot. Most of the topics which I've seen people come up with, it ends within 30 minutes. Like even with usability testing, it goes up max to 40 minutes with all the, them taking them through their app and doing tasks and all that. So if you're just looking for exploratory, qualitative, in-depth, saying 15 minutes is already a good enough time. And we have seen that repeatedly because we've already done this. This is our third wave which we are doing it. But this happens every 2 months, which means every alternate month we repeat this. So if we take your request in April, we will deliver the results in May. Similarly, like um, if you take your this month, September, we took in the your request, and then in October we will be delivering we will actually do the FGDs in October, and we will deliver the requests in October. So again here, same like LazBus, 6 countries, 2 FGDs per group, exactly the same, except that this is a qualitative focus group discussion. When I say FGDs, it means focus group discussions. So it's more unstructured, it's qualitative. And the focus group discussion will happen between 9th to 16th of every month, typically. That's like a standard. And of course, we have local people who are speaking that local language, and all the FGDs are done in the local language. And there are also simultaneous translations. So I will also take you through that, because that's something which is often a question which comes to us. So can we go to the last slide, Harris, which talks about how we take in requests. Yeah, so if you are looking at how we, no, sorry, how do you send in your request? Let's go to the how do you send in your request slide. Yeah, so just the slide before, yes. So same again, LazPool survey request, you can join this group, which is called the main LazPool Qualitative Online FGD group. And in this one, what we have again is the same, exactly is exactly the same as LazBus. You have something which is, there's an introduction file, there's a LazPool survey request file. Please use online editing. And again, we will show you that file, and you will be able to see it's a very, very similar structure. And it's just ensure that you're using online editing, and put in your request over there. Again, we do not expect that your questions will be the most research perfect in the research sense. We will do all that. We just need the objectives and the first basic questions. And then we will also show you some examples of how people have sent in their questions. And in fact, you can also go and browse and see it. And we will also show how we have translated those into actual questions for this thing. So if you go to the main LazBus, the online editing file, we can have a look at that. Okay, so yeah. So this one is, again, as you can see, this is an online editing mode. And here are the topics which have come in, the requests which have come in for this particular month. And in fact, we will also show you from the previous month how the questions were translated. So this is for requests which have come in from October. And there are a few other requests which we have added from the research team, because those have come in from other sources. So again, here you will find, in this case also, you will find something called the FAQ. So if you see the FAQ sheet, it has all the details of how can you join the group discussion, can you ask questions, how to ask questions, what are the etiquettes of, or what are the process for asking questions. So all those are actually mentioned here in terms of all the details, not only about sending in your request, but how do you observe the groups, how do you listen to it in English, how do you where do you find the analysis, when will you get it. So all those details, frankly, you will find it here under FAQ. And if you want to know how do I view like observing, you'll get it under FGD details. Every month we put in all the details. Of course, for the ones who are stakeholders, we send it to them directly. So here you'll find all the groups, which is the local language observing, meeting codes, the English ones, who's the contact person. Is so all of this is already mentioned here. At what time can you observe the groups? So you see, for every country there are 2 groups. For October, there's 13th October. For Indonesia, 14th. For Philippines, 17th. For Thailand, Vietnam is 18th. This month we are not doing Malaysia and Singapore because there have been no requests for that particular those 2 particular countries, and hence we are just doing it in the 4 countries. But like last time we had it for sorry, we have it for Singapore, we don't have it for Malaysia this time, because Malaysia we did not have any request. So if you go above, you'll find that for the other months we had I mean, of course right now the cells are hidden, but in general for every month you will find all the details. And just going down, if you see the how do you will you be allowed to observe the groups? Yes, you will be able to. You can find the details of the groups here, and which languages will it be in, will there be translations provided? Yes. How do you differentiate between, because what we do is simultaneous translation, so where the interpreter translates in real time, so everything happens in real time. So you once you listen to it, you'll be able to understand what is simultaneous translation if you have not never been exposed to it before. And if you can hear both the local language and the English translations at the same time, then how do you mute it, etc. So in fact we have some very nice sheets already developed on that, which is also there in that particular group, in LazBus LazPool group, on how you can ask questions, on how you can so I think Harris can share that about the LazPool request and FGD observer instructions. So this one actually shows how you can observe each group, and also how you can ask questions for each group. So that's also something which all the instructions are shared in this one. So uh, so I think that so again, if you have if you want to see how it was done in the previous months, you can go to the archive and look at what was done in the previous months, the report, how it was shared. Yeah, so Harris is now actually showing us how to send in your LazPool and how to observe and listen to LazPool FGD. And all the instructions are given here, and also shown in pictorial format as to how in Zoom you can make the changes and all that. Every month, whenever to the key stakeholders, whoever have put in their request, we send this these instructions separately, so you will be able to see it separately. Yeah. So so Harris, if you can point them to where all the previous files are, in case somebody wants to look into the archive. So again, in the group, you have something called archive for previous months, and you can see how we have done it for, say, July, August, wave 2. We have all um, the particular reports, and all the details are there. Again, for this one as well, for LazPool, what we do is we create separate groups every month because it happens every 2 months. So we will create a separate group for that particular month, and we will be discussing the request, and all the discussions happens in that particular group. Um, but that is only for the people who are only the stakeholders who have put in a request for that particular group that month. So yeah, so this is basically what we have for LazBus and LazPool in short. It's one is a quantitative and one is a qualitative. Both are omnibus studies, which means that both is about coming together, and one is we call it a bus because it's just a bigger size, and it's about coming. It's omnibus means one bus, meaning everyone, instead of taking their own cars out, they come and share this thing. So maybe Harris, yeah, I think that's it for whatever we were sharing for now. And if you have any questions, just put in. You can either put it in the chat here or just ask me directly. Any questions from anyone? Okay, if you don't have any questions, then maybe we will just share this session, the recording of the session in the different groups. And if you have any questions, of course, you can raise it with us any other time as well, whenever you have a request, or just put in your request directly into the LazBus or LazPool request sheet at any point of time. So yeah, that's basically what we have. But another question which we often get is that, is this applicable for buyers, sellers, or affiliates? This is only applicable for buyers. This is not for sellers at the moment. We are planning to do something very similar for sellers, but that will only come in perhaps in January or February, not at the moment, because at the moment we do not have enough bandwidth, and also we need to plan it out much in a more robust way with the seller team, because the seller survey send out is a different mechanism altogether, and hence whatever we do, the sellers has to be very, very different. We have some plans for it. We've discussed with the seller team. The seller team is very interested in it, and has actually asked us to create a proposal for it. Currently, because of low bandwidth, we haven't started on it. We will be doing it in this S2. So yes, the seller one is also coming up. Yeah. Any questions from anyone else? Or else we end the session and we go for a nice lunch. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Harris, for sharing. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you everyone. We will have the recording ready and uploaded to the groups. Thank you.
Thank you.